Hey guys, so I wanted to make a stream today talking about language and why it's important that you be very, very mindful about what you say. What exactly do I mean by this? I think in life we get into these traps and then we say something and we're not very aware that it makes us look bad. Let me give you an example here. Let's say you see someone who, let's just give an example, right? Let's say you're with a bunch of friends. One person says, "Oh my god, look at that guy over there. He's so ugly," right? You look at the person and you say like, you say like, "Oh yeah, that person doesn't look that great. Yeah, he's kind of ugly, right?" Just like that, because you agree with that person, the perception from the other people in that group could also be that you're an ugly person as well. Do you guys get what I'm saying? So if someone says something and it's negative towards another person and you agree with that person openly in a public setting and it's something like unattractive looks, immediately people who hear this will think, wow, we got two people in our group who look very judgmental. So, in that situation, the best thing you could do is just shut your mouth, check your phone, that kind of stuff. And that's just what I'm putting out there as an example. Here's another thing, right? Let's say if someone falls short on a goal. So you're talking with someone and they're telling you, "Oh, did you hear about our friend blah blah blah? They tried their hand at here, this is just an example, right? They tried their hand at repairing something, repairing their sink, and they caused such a big issue that they had to bring a plumber. Yeah, it caused their sink to flood. Okay, you go and you tell them, really? They tried to repair a sink and they screwed up? Dang, I knew they were always such an idiot. Man, that's so stupid of them trying to repair their own sink. Like, of course, if you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna have to bring in a plumber. By adding on top of those negative words, you look more of a joke. You look more like a jerk. You see, if you had simply told, if someone had said, "Oh, so and so tried to fix their sink, they caused plumbing damage. Oh man, I feel so bad for them." Instead of going into that insult towards a person who caused flooding because they tried to fix their sink, if you had simply said something along the lines of, "Oh, that's unfortunate. Geez, I had no idea that if you try to fix your sink, you can cause like a huge amount of damage. I'll keep that in mind if I ever decide to do sink repairs. Thanks for letting me know." See, one is a lot more classy and the other one is more unfiltered. As I get into 2022, today is January 2nd, 2022. I want you to be very, very careful about the way you phrase things because, as you guys have seen in my channel, right? I still have people who get stuff about my clown stuff, okay? And I don't backtrack on that kind of thing. I really do feel that way, that hey, people do need to improve. I do feel that sometimes people don't realize about their clown behavior. There are clowns and there are clownettes, right? But the moment that you say something negative about a person, even if you don't, even if you're just giving a general idea, if people feel that they are threatened or if you're talking crap about another person, they can go on the offensive and make you look like the terrible person. See where I'm getting at? Remember that plumbing story, right? You could have stopped and just been all like, "Man, that's unfortunate that they caused plumbing. That sucks." Right? That's not offensive. But the moment that you started saying, "Oh, I knew that person was an idiot. Wow, that's so stupid for them to cause that kind of damage. How stupid could they be?" You really have to be very, very mindful. One thing about YouTube is that YouTube can be a very, very harsh environment. You have to kind of be your own. Ideally, you should be either very strong in your words, and people have to think that you're not talking about them, you're just talking about ID, because that's not offensive, right? If I talk about, "Oh, there are some not so great people in the world, people who are not that smart," that's not offensive. But the moment that I say, "Hey, there's a good chance that you're an idiot," right? There's that turns into that personal remark, and people don't like that kind of stuff. So it's all about being very mindful about certain things, and that's why I have some people. They're on the like, some people think like, oh, you hate men. I'm like, huh? I've never said I hate men, but they just twist it and just go on this whole thing where they just say, oh, Erica hates men. She's a man hater. I'm like, I'm not a man hater. I've never been a man hater. Never said I hated males. Um, but I just hate clowns. And yeah. So, for instance, right, in my previous my previous stream, Luis is just going, like, I can read previous comments, right? It's just like, oh, look, she's a femcel, she's a man hater. And I keep saying this thing, but can't let it go. But the bad thing is that, right, I see a message, someone responds to it. If I say anything back, it could make me look worse. And that's what I'm trying to talk about. So just keep that stuff in mind, right? I think that the way that I've worded things is pretty harsh. And I don't have any real regrets about that, wording it harshly, because I don't want someone to listen to something and think, "Oh man, that's terrible. Erica's talking crap about, some people in the population. Oh man, that sucks that some people get so depressed." And then the person who's listening to this hasn't taken a shower in 1 week, and they're like, "Oh, she's talking about other people, but she's not talking about me." See, there's a difference there. So let's see over here. So Kai says, if I were called ugly, that would full on ruin my day. You know what, Kai? What I've learned as a female is, as you get older, there are gonna be people out there who are quick to call you ugly. You would never ever call these people ugly because you've been taught better. But some people, they don't care. They're just like, oh, they're ugly, he's ugly, she's ugly, everything's ugly, that kind of thing. They have no regard for how hurtful making a comment about physical appearances. That's why sometimes, like, if you hear me, I'll say things like, oh yeah, this person looks like a loser, but then I'll follow it up with, like, that's why you guys have to wear clothes that fit you better, find something that flatters you, build up your self-confidence, because sometimes I'll say things that people may be thinking, but you're never gonna say it outright. I'm not gonna walk down the street and be like, haha, look at this person, he looks like such a loser. Like, I won't say it out loud, but I'll think to myself, hey, that person probably could dress better, because right now, based on the fit, based on the styling, they just look like a loser. And you guys can't tell me like I'm the only person in the world who's just, people make judgments about people every single day. Like, if I walk out and I'm wearing ill-fitting clothes, people are going to be making judgments about me. If you are outside, or if you are seen, people are free to make any judgments, because people are entitled to their own opinion. But yeah, just watch what is coming out of your mouth, and that's all you can handle. If you have a person who is just, just telling you straight up like, "Hey, I think you're really ugly," then look at the words coming from their mouth. Understand that they don't have they don't have that filter in them, and it's different if I talk about something online versus in person. Like, and that's the thing. Like, if someone is willing to come up to your face and say, "Hey, so and so, you're ugly," like, think about it. You have to realize that that person, they know what they're doing. Either that, or they're really stupid. So don't let it hurt you, because chances are you're not the only person that they've said these kind of hateful words to in your face. It takes a lot of lack of brain cells for people, in my opinion, to say those kind of words, or they just don't care about hurting feelings. How are things doing in Hawaii? It's going. I'm sorry to hear about your father. I hope that you kept in touch with your father, kind of thing. And I only say that because sometimes people, when they pass away, people have regrets, like they didn't talk to them more, that kind of stuff. But yeah, funeral process is not so great. It's, one thing I've always hated about funerals is that it's, while it is a very respectful thing, you remember how that person lived. It's just, I just hate it when you have to think about funeral service and, putting everything together. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Holy hand grenades. Ugliness and beauty are subjective. I like women who don't wear makeup, don't shave anything. Okay, well, it all depends. Like, I find that, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, I find that sometimes, like, let's say you want a person who looks like an Instagram model, right? Let's say you're like, man, I want a person who looks like she's so beautiful. She looks like she could be a Hollywood celebrity. Chances are a Hollywood celebrity is going to want a person who looks also like they put in as much effort. They go to a stylist or they go get their hair done. They look like they brushed their teeth, that kind of stuff. So if you have like extremely high standards, but your standards aren't high, at nearly as high as those standards, like, can you really expect a person who looks like they're a runway model to not even give you the time of day? Right? Like, you want a person to look so on point, but if you yourself doesn't look on point, then you really wouldn't be that person's, you wouldn't be that person's equal in a sense. Like, they would be putting in way more effort on their look than you do. So that's what I talk about. I talk about this whole clown thinking because I see it. I see guys where they want some top tier women, and I'm thinking, damn, these women, like, I don't know. It's like very, very rare, very super incredibly rare to see. People don't walk around the streets with freaking filters, for instance. And then these guys will say, oh, well, I can't help it. I just really like really beautiful women. And then you look at the guy, and the guy does not even look as anything near like an Instagram model at all. Not just like physically. What I'm talking about is the way that they take care of themselves. They don't look like, the woman looks like she's in much better shape than the guy. The guy doesn't care about what he wears, but then he's so choosy and demanding about what a woman wears. The guy, let's be honest here, right? How will a guy pull a woman like that? What is it? Like, she's gonna look at the guy and she's gonna be like, okay, well, this guy looks like he doesn't brush his teeth, but he's into me. See? Yeah, yeah. Like those people who are Instagram models or on social media and they look really made up, understand it could take them upwards of 1 or 2 hours to look like that. If you're dealing with a woman, she could have hair extensions. She could be spending $500 a pop at the salon or more to get those highlights in, hair extensions, blah blah. And that's something people don't like to think about. Sometimes people think like, oh, well, she must have rolled out of bed looking like $1 million. It's like, no, no. What, you think she just went to sleep and her nails were just perfectly manicured? No, it all takes time. It is unrealistic for one to lust after him, but it happens all the time. What I'm saying is that it's totally fine to think like a top tier supermodel is attractive. But if you have the expectation that you should be able to pull a top tier supermodel when you don't look anything near like a top 10 supermodel, or you're not a millionaire or billionaire, then you're going to have a very low chance. That's what I'm trying to get at. And I see guys waste their life away, and then they have this defeatist attitude where they say, oh, I can't help it that I like beautiful women. And some of these guys, they're probably like 37, never had a girlfriend, bitter about life, but then they don't drop their standards and they don't improve themselves. So I consider that to be absolute clown thinking. Yeah, Mad Stork looks like Mad Stork has to watch their diet. One thing about food is that you gotta try different diets to see what you feel best on. Some people they go best on low carb diet, high carb diet, vegetarian, vegan, omnivore, carnivore, right? I'd say just cut the processed foods. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why I decided to make my clown streams. But I never. What I said this, I didn't expect there to be such visceral dislike for that content, because I thought to myself, hey, I'm not a guy. I'm just saying, like, hey, don't have these kind of qualities. If you go out on the street and you display some of these qualities like, hey, I'm gonna hit on a chick and I'm not gonna brush my teeth, then don't get mad if she rejects you because she's like, oh geez, this guy, she's like, just that kind of thing. Looks do matter. Looks matter a lot, you know. If looks, I think, go hand in hand with grooming. I'm not saying you have to look perfectly, like well groomed all the time, but you have to have some basic maintenance. Take a shower, brush your teeth, wash your face, you know, wash your hands, that kind of stuff. Mm. Oh, Madslick's been cutting out processed food. Good. But, you know, it depends, you know. To each their own. Some people like very plain looking women, which is more achievable. I think that sometimes, like, I've met really sweet women who look very plain. Um, like if you would put a mask on them and kind of thing, you would think they have a really great personality. But sometimes people don't give them a time of day because they'd be like, oh, you know, she's not pretty enough, she's not young enough, and yeah. So I've met women where they have really, really, really kind hearts, but in the love department, they're not successful at all. Oh my gosh, I think the guy who's yelling, you know, F you. You remember that clown I was telling you about 100 feet away? Yeah, I heard him earlier today. He was just like, F you. Oh my God. January 2nd, and this guy is still yelling. I mean, I didn't hear him for like the past couple days, but it's like he was saving his voice for January 2nd, obviously. Just that guy. I almost want to send him like an anonymous letter. Dear blah blah blah. I know you've been yelling. I heard you towards the end of 2021. Please, if you want to use your vocal strength, please become a singer. I think that you have a very strong voice. Instead of yelling expletives, like, go make an album or something. Go focus on that. Yeah, it could be nutritional deficiencies. Sometimes people, let's say if you have a diet and you're only eating oranges, yeah, you might not have everything that you need from the oranges. Oh gosh, that guy's still going on. I'm surprised. You know, people have a hard time hearing me on the phone, and I can hear this guy like over 100 feet away. I was talking to Lewis today, and he was like, "I can't hear you," so I was like raising my voice on the phone, and he was like, "Oh, you sound angry," and I'm like, "Yeah, cause I'm trying to like talk louder over here." So here I have to like use my strength and my energy to speak louder, and then you got this guy cursing expletives. I guess he's on a routine, you know, strengthening his voice with expletives. It's probably no problem for him, really. And I can't even, some people can't even hear me on the phone. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up because I have a really bad habit of just going on and on and on. And I know, but this is what I am. Yeah, vitamin minerals. But this is what I would say, okay? Do not take the bait, okay? You see this mouse trap? Whenever you find yourself, maybe you could just kick it up a notch, like just watch what you say. If someone says, "Oh, my friend messed up a couple days ago. Oh, you know, she was, I don't know, she okay, for instance, right? Let's say this. You have a friend. Her name was Amy. Oh, you know, so and so, Amy, she turned. You know what happened to Amy a couple of days ago? What? Amy was using decided to make a smoothie, and then she forgot to put the blender top on her smoothie container, and then it caused a huge mess. She spent about 2 hours cleaning the mess up in her kitchen. Right? When you hear this, you can throw shade at Amy, call Amy an idiot, or you can say, that really sucks. Gee, she forgot the blender top. Man, do you have pictures of it? Because I want to see how much of a mess not having a blender top on your smoothie is. Just curious because I've never done that. Thankfully, I haven't done it because I wouldn't want to be like Amy and clean my kitchen for 2 hours. But I hope Amy remembers. See, that is the way to handle it, right? Just kind of be like, don't throw shade at Amy, right? Because it's already done. because you don't want word to come at towards Amy if you say this kind of thing. Oh, did you hear what? Let's say your name is Caroline, right? Oh yeah, I was telling Caroline about what you did with your blender or how you didn't put the blender cover. Oh my gosh, Caroline went at you for like about 2 minutes calling you a freaking idiot. And she says, man, I knew Caroline was not that smart, but I didn't know she was that dumb, right? I mean, yeah, like just imagine you're Caroline and then word comes at towards Amy that you had said that you didn't know she was so stupid, right? Amy is going to be hurt. And you're going to look like the jerk, even though Amy was the one who fell short. So, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, even though you might see something dangling and you might be thinking, like, oh, okay, well, I'll just say whatever because someone else messed up, you will look like the fool if you come at it. And then you don't be surprised, right? Let's say you're that person, Caroline, who talked crap about Amy because Amy forgot the blender lid. Don't be surprised if people say, man, I didn't know Caroline was such a hateful person. Man, Caroline was talking so much crap about Amy. You know, Amy just made a little mistake, but Caroline was just going at it about Amy's intelligence, calling her an idiot. And if you're Caroline, people might distance themselves from you because of what you said. So it is better to say less toxic things and just say that sucks. Oh, it's unfortunate what happened to Amy, and leave it at that. Right? Oh, geez, that just something like pat it. And I think people can be very up in arms about certain things. So if you are in a private setting and let's say you're around people that you know and you trust and they think around the same lines as you and they're like, yeah, Amy's such an idiot, then you can continue to say what you want to say, right? You don't have to filter yourself. But you have to be mindful about who you talk to and how you phrase things because let's say you do this on a YouTube audience setting and you tell everybody, hey, this is what my friend Amy did. People can listen to that and be like, I can't believe Amy has a friend like you because you're so hateful towards Amy. See? That's why people, I think sometimes if they're on YouTube, they're very, very careful about how they word things because God forbid, someone hears it and let's say there's not a rapport, there's no understanding. They can be very up in arms. Like I know there are certain things like I've done in my life and people would say, oh my goodness, Erica, you're such an idiot, right? If they tell me, Erica, you're an idiot because of the rapport that I have with them, I'd be like, yeah, I'm an idiot, oh well. But if someone hears someone maybe call me an idiot, they might take it more offensively. What? You're calling Erica an idiot? Oh, how can you make such ugly judgments? You see? Like that's where some things that's like that kind of camaraderie or the words might get lost because people might not have an understanding. There are certain people out there, if they call me an idiot, I'd be fine with it because, I'm just thinking like that's just language that we pass around, right? I can call them an idiot. They can call me an idiot. We'll call, certain people an idiot together, that kind of stuff. Yeah, there's some people like they poke fun at you, you poke fun at them, and then, you just have these little jabs left and right. But there's other people out there who will be like, what? You can't call people an idiot. Oh, why are you calling each other an idiot? There's some certain people out there, like, they'll rag on me, I'll rag on them, and at the end of the day, we're totally fine. We just laugh about it and wish each other the best. See? Yeah. Will it blend? Oh, technically yes. Let's get our mouths. I've never ever run. By the way, in case you guys are wondering, I've never run a blender without putting the top on because I'm so scared about it just causing a mess on the ceiling. But I've known people have done that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's certain things like people have their own little quirks. So, for instance, right? Lewis makes fun of me and he says like I don't know how to unlock the door. I struggle because the door has like a top and bottom lock. And I'm like telling him, I'm like, hey, I figured it out. Like, yeah, it can either go left or it can go right. That's just my quirk, right? But some person might be out like, whoa, Erica's so stupid, right? She can't figure out the lock. So if I don't know that person and they're like, why are you such an idiot? I would take offense to them versus if it's someone that I personally know and I joke around with, right? If them someone's like, "Oh my gosh, Erica, you're not too smart. You keep trying to fiddle with that lock and you can't figure it out." Like that would be a different level. So, remember, right? There's different contexts over here. Some people could be like, "Oh, you're a lovable goofball," and another person could say, "Oh, you're such an idiot," but I'm an idiot too. So I guess we're both idiots. See. Yeah, I don't know. I don't listen much to game streamers. I don't watch gaming too much, so I wouldn't know what to. I can't comment about that. I don't have any gaming YouTuber kind of thing that I listen to, like Twitch or something like that. I listen. I see snippets of it, and I just kind of tune out because I focus on other things instead. But yeah. So 2022, trying to be better here. Not having 2 hour long streams. Be mindful about what you say. If you believe in a message, you can send that message out, like I've done with my clown videos. Remember, I don't hate men. I've never ever said I hated men. I admire and I respect men. I just really hate clowns. Um, be mindful about what you say because it can be it could be taken the wrong way, and then you might have some people who are up in arms about what you say. And it is up to you to either change the way that you phrase things or just not say certain things at all. Blender story. Do you want to share something like that your friend Amy did? Or do you just want to keep it mum or just say, oh, yeah, I have a friend and she forgot the blender top. And instead of calling her an idiot, you could say, she wasn't she had a moment of forgetfulness and she forgot the blender top. As a result of that, it caused a mess in her kitchen. She had to clean it up for 2 hours because I think she made the world's greatest smoothie with like 50 ingredients. Who knows? Like, see, the way you phrase it, that's more humorous than just ragging into your friend Amy. So, that's what I'm trying to get at over here. And I don't want you guys falling into this trap where people you don't understand like why people don't like you or why people think certain things about you when that was never your intention to be like an enemy. It's just you just didn't temper your words right. And in 2022 you're gonna see me try to be a little bit more careful with my words, because I don't want the focus when I say things to be about me so much. I want the focus to be more on a message that I'm sending, right? If I share a blender story, I don't want people saying, oh, Erica's such a jerk, oh, Erica's so mean. I want the focus to be on, hey, make sure you have a top on your blender, right? Don't make a mess. But that kind of gets lost in translation when people just focus on one character in a story rather than just like the whole bigger picture. Yeah, you know what people do? That's one of those things about car lights, right? I realize that it's so smart for certain cars to have those automatic light features. You know, the people remember back in like the 90s or 80s, people like they would just leave their car lights on and it would just stay on and on forever and kill their battery. Car manufacturers were so smart about that. They said we're gonna have it so the light only stays on the car for 10 minutes. So if you accidentally leave your car light on, don't worry, it'll shut off. And I thought that was so smart because I've seen people, when I was growing up, they leave their car light on and then their car wouldn't work the next day. So there were too many idiots out there in the world that car manufacturers like, okay, you know what? You can't turn off your car light. We'll turn it off for you. And it's a highly appreciated thing, right? I've never kept my car light on, but then again, I make sure that the door is locked and the car lights off and everything. I actually sometimes do a 360 around the car just to make sure it's locked before I leave. Yeah, yeah. Like if you have a close friend, right? It's different. I've had people close to my life, right? And then they'd be like, they would like I would do something and I'd mess up, and they'd be like, "How stupid can you be, Erica?" But then on the flip side, when they mess up, they would say, "How stupid can I be?" So although it may seem hurtful, they're saying the same stuff to themselves. But it's up to you to kind of gauge about that kind of thing. And that's a thing that I think sometimes if people just heard some person ranting on YouTube and they'd be like, "How stupid can you all be to make that mistake?" You can understand why that can cause a visceral response when you might not understand how this person speaks, how this person's communication style is with other people. Maybe they're around people that they can joke and, just talk about you being an idiot, I being an idiot, everybody being an idiot. But if you're on a platform that people aren't aware of you, again, it can cause a lot of negative feelings. So that's all I wanted to say about it. You guys take care. And as always, don't be a clown. Don't fall into the mousetrap. And I hope you have a really great day. Okay? Like, don't spread, I hate to say it this way, but if you're going to criticize someone, watch carefully how you word it. If you guys need an example, maybe if something happens in your life, you can write down, okay, this is what happened. This is my shoot at the hip kind of response, what I would say. And then this is a way that I can phrase it better. If you want to be a more upstanding adult, and I say that through self reflection, right? You need to be mindful about the words coming out of your mouth. Again, you do not want to be one of those people who throw expletives out there. F F F F F, like the guy 100 feet away. Maybe singing is gonna be his New Year's resolution. I don't know. It would be nice to hear him sing instead of curse all the time, but who knows? But whatever the case be, when I have to think about, for example, myself as I get older, I don't want to fall into the pitfalls of getting killed by a mousetrap. And it could just be something dangling in front of me, and then I say something wrong, and then I'm just basically seen as the enemy, and I like extinguish myself because of my words, and I don't think about it. See? So yeah. I don't know about how the stuff is going. The stuff floating around in Hawaii. I hear numbers are going up, but it is what it is. I think it's going up for everybody around.